Can we all please rise for Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja? Hare Krishna.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Vandamoi Savadana Mate Vandamoi Savadana Mate Jahara prasadeva e bhavatoriya jahar Krishna pratyo jahar hoite Krishna pratyo jahar hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Kya Vakya Chitete Koriya Kya Arana Koriyo Mane Asha Harana koriyo mane asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttamagati Jai prasari pure sarva asha Jai prasari pure sarva asha चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जाते अभिज विनाश जाते मेरे गाय जहर चरित जहर चरित मेरे गाय जहर चरित जहर चरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अज भज नार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अज भज नार बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना हा प्रभु कर दया देह मोर पार छाया हा प्रभु कर दया देह मोर पार छाया हे बेगा सुसुति भुवना हे बेगा सुसुति भुवना Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Pashatyare Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Jaya Gora Hari. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astatara Satashi Shrimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki ISKCON Samstapaka Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astatara Satashi Shrimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Anantakori Vaishnava Vrinda ki Namacharya Shri Ras Thakur ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव शरी गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Giriraj Govardhan ki, Jagannath Subhadra Balaram ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki, Shri Navadip Mayapur Dham ki, Shri Nilachal Jagannath Puri Dham ki, Gangamai Jamunamai ki, Bhakti Devi Tulasi Devi ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Gaur Premanande, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. A very warm welcome to our Sunday Love Feast program. A very special welcome to the guests who are joining us for the first time and to our online viewers. We will now have a short video presentation in honor of Srila Prabhupada's 50th anniversary. Hare Krishna.
Okay, then I may explain a little bit. Here you see Jagannath and Balaram and Subhadra. There, Krishna and his elder brother and his sister, Subhadra. There is a place in India, about 90 miles north of Delhi. We have heard the name of New Delhi. The place is named Kurukshetra. It is accepted as the holy place, pilgrimage. People still gather there, especially during the eclipse, solar and lunar eclipse. So there was once, 5,000 years ago, there was a solar eclipse, and all people from all parts of India, they came to Kurukshetra, and Krishna at that time was Prince at Ratha. He also came with his elder brother and sister. Krishna, in his childhood, he was raised as the foster son of Maharaj Nanda and Mother Yashoda in Vrindavan. Then when he was grown up, you'll find this history in the Krishna book. The incident is that Krishna was the beloved personality in Vrindavan. So when he left Vrindavan, all the people there, they are very, very unhappy. So when Krishna came to Kurukshetra from Dwarka with his brother and sister, these people in Vrindavan, they got news that Krishna is coming there. Vrindavan is about the same distance. Kurukshetra is greater distance. Anyway, they came to see Krishna out of their love. And the most beloved personality, Srimati Radharani, she was requesting Krishna that you are the same Krishna, I am the same Radharani, but the place is not the same. You are here in Kurukshetra, in royal opulence, and you are coming from the village. So, you will again please come to Vrindavan. This was Radharani's request, and it is very ecstatic feeling. Those who are advanced devotees, they can enjoy. So, we observe this incident annually in as many places in the Western countries. At the present moment, we hold this ceremony in London, San Francisco, Chicago, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Melbourne, yes. Now, this is the very beginning festival. So I thank you very much. You have come here and try to understand or philosophy. We are all educated boys and girls. We have got 57 books. Try to read and try to understand and take it very seriously and you will be happy. Thank you very much.
Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna and welcome once again. Just a reminder to switch off all cell phones or you can put them on silent mode. So Prabhu is just running a few minutes late, so we'll do some announcements in the meantime. As you know, our Durban Festival of Chariot dates are from the 3rd to the 6th of April. There will be various events taking place, including our Sunshine Parade that takes place on Friday the 3rd of April from 10 a.m. onwards, and our Sunset Parade on Monday the 6th of April from 5 p.m. onwards. On the main stage, along with various items of cultural entertainment, there will be a beautiful drama being showcased on Shiva and Sati, directed by His Holiness Bhaktimark Swami on the 3rd and 4th of April at 7 p.m. and the 6th of April at 6 p.m. There will be various international speakers that will be blessing us with their presence during the festival as well. There's a lot to look forward to at the festival, along with service opportunities to serve Lord Jagannath, and all of this will be available on our social media platforms, or you could connect with our festivals committee. Please kindly return the receipt books with funds collected to Temple Book Table before the festival starts. And on Wednesday the 1st is the appearance of Sri Radha Kund and Hanuman Jayanti. There will be a special class at 7:30 a.m. with His Holiness Ram Govinda Swami. So as Prabhu makes his way to the temple, we could have some kirtan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, devotees. So Prabhu is here. So we welcome our special guest. He is Great Swarup Damodar Prabhu. Hari Bol. His Grace Swarup Damodar Prabhu was our temple president for many years and is a caring leader who has made significant impact on our temple and us all. He has served within our ISKCON community for over 25 years. He is the servant of His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj and is an inspiration for our youth and our community of devotees. He presents various cinemas, nobly ISKCON disciples. Prabhu is also very involved with the youth and the initiatives thereof. And Prabhu serves as a wonderful secretary for His Holiness Giriraj Swami. Prabhu's topic for today is Srila Prabhupada's vision for the Ratha yatra. I will now hand over to Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. How are you all this morning? Hare Krishna. Very often nowadays I have to be supported when I give classes to have my computer with me, all my notes and verses. And sometimes it may seem to some people, wow, this is very advanced, this is high level technology. But actually it's a form of degradation. People think that a technological advancement in this day and age is having computers, having calculators, artificial intelligence. But when one looks at it very carefully, it's actually a form of degradation. Because thousands of years ago, people had such good memories, they didn't need to write things down. What to speak of having reminders on the telephone. They could count, they could add, they could subtract, divide and multiply very easily. Now we need calculators. So these machines are actually a sign of degrading faculties. So don't get enamored by, I shouldn't get enamored by these machines. Is this battery going to last? Because it's already seeming to, did you notice? Like that. Alright, so this morning we want to discuss a very wonderful topic called Srila Prabhupada's vision for the festival of chariots, or the Ratha Yatra festival. And to get to that point of Srila Prabhupada's vision, I thought to discuss some other perspectives on this most glorious event, the Ratha Yatra event, of course, especially from the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which greatly inspired Srila Prabhupada to introduce the Ratha Yatra festival in the Western countries. Of course, over the last week we were very fortunate to observe the wonderful Ram Navami festival series, and today, I think just concluding about now, is the wonderful Snan Yatra festival, the bathing ceremony of Lord Jagannath, there in Phoenix. Unfortunately, all of you all didn't go there. Why didn't you all go there? The rain, no place in the bus. Huh? We had service here. See, when I was, this is definitely some. When I was asked to do this class, okay. When I was asked to do this class today, 29th March, I didn't realize that it was the Snan Yatra festival in Phoenix. And ordinarily, if I had known, I would have preferred to have gone there for the festival. But I thought about it deeply over the last week and a half, and I realized that, yes, Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, Shri Shri Radha Radhanath was probably asking something deeper of all of us. Not just to be there physically, pouring physical forms of water over the deities, but probably to take some time, make an effort to deepen our understanding of who Lord Jagannath is, what the Ratha Yatra festival is all about. And in that way, come next week, or this week, when we do go out to the Durban beachfront on Friday to Monday, then our take-home memories of the festival will not be how amazing the waffle and ice creams were. Or those burgers and chips could have been fried a little bit more. I don't know why they went wrong over there. Oh, wow, the gopi skirts at the gift shop. They were so expensive. I had to wait for the last day when they had a big discount, then I bought. No, that shouldn't be the take-home realization and experience. If that's the level of our experience, then we have wasted 4 days. Really, we have wasted. If that's the impression that's stuck in our mind, of course, if the biryani was such a great thing, that always is good. It's always good. Somehow those 4 days biryani is like the best biryani you taste ever, isn't it? There's something about the biryani at the Ratha Yatra festival, it's really something else. But yeah, we want to deepen our experience, to make those 4 days something that carries us through the year. And material experiences, a materialistic approach to spiritual engagement yields a very fleeting experience, something that's here today and gone by next week. But when one approaches the Festival of Chariots from the perspective of the great devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, trying to pray to them for a deeper understanding, a deeper engagement, a deeper relishing of that wonderful event, then one will feel something. Srila Prabhupada once wonderfully remarked about the Ratha Yatra festival. He said the Ratha Yatra festival is a feelings festival. It's all about feelings, and especially about the feelings of vipralamba bhav, the feelings of separation from the devotees, hankering for the association of Shri Krishna. So let's see in the time that we have how we can try to unpack this Ratha Yatra festival so that next week will be very, very meaningful. So to begin with, well, for most of this class, I plan to read from the 13th chapter of the Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. The chapter is entitled, anybody can guess what the chapter is entitled? The Ecstatic Dancing of the Lord at Ratha Yatra. This is what Ratha Yatra is really about, ecstatic dancing. And if somehow you got arthritis and gout and hips have been replaced and knees are about to be replaced, it's okay. If you dance at Ratha Yatra, you won't need the surgery. You won't need the steroid injection. You won't need any of these things. Anyway, don't quote me now to your doctor. But if we are not able to physically dance, at least we can remember this account. And during the procession, we can meditate on this. And just try to visualize. You won't have to try very hard. I'll tell you why just now. But at least we can try to visualize the Lord's dancing, Lord Chaitanya's dancing before Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra in Jagannath Puri. And we have such a beautiful deity of Lord Chaitanya, practically life-size deity of Lord Chaitanya, strolling through the streets of Durban in front of the chariot. So you can just look at his, that form, that deity is just so exquisite, isn't he? He's so beautiful to behold. One cannot help but just keep looking at him. You know who can't help but looking at him all the time? His eyes never come off Lord Chaitanya. You know who's like that? I'm sure you all met him. Huh? Who? Lord Jagannath. We'll read over here how Lord Jagannath, he is fixated on looking at Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He just can't take his eyes off. He's so fixated. Alright, so the 13th chapter of the Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Please repeat after me. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So before we start, I'll read text 208 of the chapter, which is known as a Phala Stuti. It's a prayer that gives the phala, the result, for one who has attentively listened to the account. So this is the result. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, anyone who hears this description of the car festival, which means the chariot festival, will attain Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He will also attain the elevated state by which he will have firm conviction in devotional service and love of Godhead. Is this something the devotees would like to attain? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and that elevated state of firm conviction in bhakti and love of Krishna? Who doesn't want to attain that? Please raise your hands. Okay, everybody wants it. All right, so this is the summary that Prabhupada gives, quoting Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He says, a summary of this chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya as follows. After bathing early in the morning, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the deities, Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, get aboard their 3 cars. This function is called Pandu Vijaya. At that time, King Prataparudra took a broom with a golden handle and began to cleanse the Lord. We have spray paint nowadays, if you know what I'm talking about. We buy these brooms and we spray them gold. But the consciousness is correct. Everyone should be sweeping in front of the deities. Lord Jagannath took permission from the goddess of fortune and then started in the car for the Gandicha temple. The road to the temple led along a broad sandy beach, and on both sides of the road were residential quarters, houses and gardens. Along that road, the servants called the Gaudas began to pull the cars. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided his Sankirtan party into 7 divisions, with 2 mridangas in each division. There were altogether, how many mridangas? 14 mridangas. While performing kirtan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited various symptoms of transcendental ecstasy, and Jagannath and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exchanged their feelings very blissfully. When the cars reached the place known as Balagandi, the devotees offered the deities simple food. At this time, in a nearby garden, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees took a brief rest from the dancing. So I'll read, and if any of you are following, please note that I may be skipping some series of verses due to time constraints and maybe due to my inability to understand and explain those verses also. So please bear with me on that. Text 1. I'll just read only the translations and not the Bengali text. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who danced in front of the car of Sri Jagannath, be all glorified. By seeing his dancing, not only was the whole universe held in wonder, but Lord Jagannath himself became very much astonished. So on Friday, when you gather there, where's the start? At the Tropicana Hotel, all right, on the Upper Marine Parade. When you come before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, try and remember this first verse of how Lord Jagannath himself was so astonished by seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you can pray to that beautiful deity of Lord Chaitanya for mercy so that you can deeply enter into the spirit of the Jagannath Ratha Yatra. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra. And all glories to the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to the listeners of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Please hear the description of the dancing of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the Ratha Yatra festival. His dancing is very enchanting. Please hear of it with great attention. The next day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his personal associates got up in the dark and attentively took their early morning baths. So this is the day immediately following the Gundicha Marjan Day. Every year before the actual Ratha Yatra festival, the Gundicha temple, which is some kilometers down the road from the Jagannath temple, is cleansed. And that's where Lord Jagannath's carts travel to, and the deities are taken off the carts and kept in that Gundicha temple for some days. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his personal associates then went to see the ceremony of Pandu Vijaya. During this ceremony, Lord Jagannath leaves his throne and gets up onto the car. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his prominent devotees, Advaitacharya, Nityananda Prabhu, and others were very happy to observe how Lord Jagannath began the Ratha Yatra. The very strongly built Daitas, carriers of the Jagannath deity, were as powerful as drunken elephants. They manually carried Lord Jagannath from the throne to the car. Lord Jagannath is the maintainer of the whole universe. Who can carry him from one place to another? The Lord moves by his personal will just to perform his pastimes. I hope some of you, or if not all of you, have seen videos of the moving of Lord Jagannath from his temple to the cart. It's called Pahandi. He's like a drunken elephant, the way he's swaying, going back and forth. And sometimes it takes hours. You know how sometimes we get at the festival, the sun is above us, we got our umbrellas and we're waiting for the deities and we're getting a little annoyed. Why? They told us 11 o'clock. Why isn't it now 11:14 and it hasn't started? In Puri, sometimes hours would go. Hours would go and the deity wouldn't come out because he is Swarup, completely independent. He can do as he likes. Sometimes the festival will start, the Lord is on the chariot, but it will take 2 days, 3 days sometimes for the Lord's procession to get to the end. How will we deal with that? We're lucky we got a merciful Jagannath in Phoenix. Huh? He starts practically on time and he finishes on time. But this we must be prepared for. The Lord can do it at his own will. Who knows? Maybe this Friday's procession will take 2 days. Come prepared. Sleeping bags, tents on the side of the streets. While the Lord was being carried from the throne to the car, King Prataparudra personally engaged in the Lord's service by cleansing the road with a broom that had a golden handle. So Maharaj Prataparudra was the then king of Puri, of Orissa, which was based in Puri at that time. Very, very highly placed royalty. And he was doing the humble service of cleaning the road. The king sprinkled the road with sandalwood-scented water. Although he was the owner of the royal throne, he engaged in menial service for the sake of Lord Jagannath. Although the Lord was the most exalted, respectable person, still he accepted menial service for the Lord. He therefore became a suitable candidate for receiving Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Upon seeing the king engaged in such menial service, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very happy. Simply by rendering this service, the king received the mercy of the Lord. So, this is another very important meditation for us, that whatever we do in spiritual life is simply to somehow attract the mercy of Krishna, the glance of Krishna, the favor of Krishna. What attracts Krishna most is not who's in front, waving their flag. Hey Krishna, here I am, see me, let me take a selfie with you to show the world how important I am. No, Krishna sees through all that noise, all that distraction, and he sees who's at the back, performing humble menial service, performing whatever duties are asked of him. And here we find the greatest, the first citizen, so to speak, of Puri, the king, royalty, he understood this principle and he took up a broom. We are not saying now, Friday, there should be massive fights for brooms. We're not saying that, but we want to establish a principle that the only way to attract Krishna's mercy is by humble, menial service. So we should meditate on this. What humble, menial service can I offer from now to the festival and during the festival and even after the festival? Because if attracting the attention of the Lord is our goal, then this is the means, right? Very important principle that Prataparudra Maharaj is showing us. For the pastimes of the Ratha Yatra ceremony, Lord Jagannath got aboard one car, and his sister Subhadra and elder brother Balaram got aboard 2 other cars. For 15 days, the Lord had remained in a secluded place with the Supreme Goddess of Fortune and had performed his pastimes with her. So this refers to the feigning of illness that the Lord exhibits after his long bathing ceremony. I know some of us can have long showers, that's true, but I think after 10 or 15 minutes, your skin begins to, especially if it's hot water, get wrinkled. But here the Lord is sitting for hours and being poured with water constantly, constantly. So naturally he may get sick, or rather he feigns an illness and he goes into seclusion for almost 2 weeks. This is called Anavasara, that period. And there he's served with many medicated herbs and teas and khichiris, simply to help him regain his health, so to speak. And then after those 15 days, when the Lord has sufficiently recovered, then he comes out for the beautiful Ratha Yatra ceremony. As Lord Jagannath rode in his car and saw the beauty on both sides, his mind was filled with pleasure. Sometimes the car would stand still and not move, even though it was pulled very vigorously. The chariot therefore moved by the will of the Lord, not by the strength of any ordinary person. As the car stood still, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gathered all his devotees and, with his own hand, decorated them with flower garlands and sandalwood pulp. There were altogether 4 parties of kirtan performers, comprising 24 chanters. In each party, there were also 2 mridanga players, making an additional 8 persons. When the 4 parties were formed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after some consideration, divided the chanting. After this, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami goes into great detail of how Lord Chaitanya organized all the different kirtan parties. Text 48. There were altogether 7 parties of kirtan, and in each party 2 men were beating drums. Thus 14 drums were being played at once. The sound was tumultuous, and all the devotees became mad. All the Vaishnavas came together like an assembly of clouds. As the devotees chanted the holy names in great ecstasy, tears fell from their eyes like rain. When the Sankirtan resounded, it filled the 3 worlds. Indeed, no one could hear any sound or musical instruments other than the Sankirtan. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wandered through all 7 groups, chanting the holy name, Hari, Hari. Raising his arms, he shouted, "All glories to Lord Jagannath." Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then exhibited another mystic power by performing pastimes simultaneously in all 7 groups. Everyone said, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in my group, is present in my group. Indeed, he does not go anywhere else. He is bestowing his mercy upon us. So, to the devotees in each kirtan group, they thought the Lord was with them. But the Lord had expanded into 7 forms. into 6 more forms, into 7 forms. Actually, no one could see the inconceivable mercy of the Lord. Only the most confidential devotees, those in pure, unalloyed devotional service, could understand. But how is it that we are also seeing it now? Isn't it? We are seeing it through our ears. So those confidential, pure devotees are so merciful that their accounts now are giving us a glimpse into what was happening. So one should never take the reading of Chaitanya Charitamrita or Srimad Bhagavatam very simplistically or casually. What we are achieving or experiencing through the reading of this book is direct Shakshat Darshan, direct audience, direct vision of what's happening with Lord Chaitanya. We are seeing it through our ears. We are seeing it through our ears. Lord Jagannath was very much pleased by the Sankirtan, and he brought his car to a standstill just to see the performance. If you want to please Lord Jagannath on the Ratha Yatra procession, what should you do? Sankirtan, chanting and dancing. That's the main activity that will attract Lord Jagannath's attention. Thus Lord Jagannath mounted his car, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspired all his devotees to dance in front of it. Now please hear about Lord Jagannath going to the Gandicha temple while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced before the Ratha car. The Lord performed kirtan for some time and through his own endeavor inspired all the devotees to dance. You know how sometimes the kirtan leader, like especially Bhakti Marg Swami, will go around exhorting everybody with his far out choreography of dancing and making, and sometimes we just are too stiff, we can't do it. But here the Lord, he's the original inspiration, asking everybody to dance in ecstasy. So when Bhakti Marg Swami is coming around, remember Lord Chaitanya. A representative of Lord Chaitanya is coming around to all of you all to make us dance. Even if it means lifting up our hands a little bit, do it in some way, because Lord Jagannath is waiting to see that. When the Lord himself wanted to dance, all 7 groups combined together. Offering obeisances to the Lord with folded hands, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu raised his face forward toward Lord Jagannath and prayed as follows. So I want to read these 4 prayers that Lord Chaitanya offered to Lord Jagannath. These should also, if you can somehow find it after the class, read it every day from now onwards, and then if you can, print it out, and at the Ratha Yatra festival for Lord Jagannath, recite these prayers, okay? Very nice. One of them at least most of you, if not all of you, know. So this is text 77. Namo Brahmanna Devaya Go Brahmanna Hitaya Cha Jagadithaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Krishna, who is the worshipable deity for all Brahmanical men, who is the well-wisher of cows and Brahmins, and who is always benefiting the whole world. I offer my repeated obeisances to the personality of Godhead, known as Krishna and Govinda. Text 78. Jayati Jayati Deva Devaki Nandana So Jayati Jayati Krishna Vrishna Vangsa Pradipaha Jayati Jayati Megha Shyamala Komalango Jayati Jayati Brithvi Bhara Nasho Mukunda. All glories unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as the son of Devaki. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as the light of the dynasty of Vrishni. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose bodily luster is just like that of a new cloud, and whose body is as soft as a lotus flower. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared on this planet to deliver the world from the burden of demons, and who can offer liberation to everyone. Text 79. Jayati Janani Vasudevaki Janmavado Yaduvara Parishat Svardhor Birasyan Dharmam Sthirachara Vijrina Gnashumishta Shri Mukhena Brajapura Vanitanam Vardayan Kamadevam. Lord Sri Krishna, who is known as Jananivas, the ultimate resort of all living entities, and who is also known as Devaki Nandan or Yashoda Nandan, the son of Devaki and Yashoda. He is the guide of the Yadu dynasty, and with his mighty arms he kills everything inauspicious, as well as every man who is impious. By his presence he destroys all things inauspicious for all living entities, moving and inert. His blissful smiling face always increases the lusty desires of the gopis of Vrindavan. May he be all glorious and happy. And then the fourth verse that Lord Chaitanya recites, Naham vipro na cha narapatir napi vaisha na sudro Naham varni na cha grihapatir no vanashto yatirva Kintu prodyan nikhila paramananda purnamritabdher Gopi bhatta padakamalayo dasa dasa anudasaha. I am not a Brahmin, I am not a Kshatriya, I am not a Vaishya or a Sudra. Nor am I a brahmachari, a householder, a vanaprashta, or a sannyasi. I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. He is like an ocean of nectar, and he is the cause of universal transcendental bliss. He is always existing with brilliance. So these are the 4 verses, your homework for the next 5 days, please. So these are, again, if you want to have a mental note, or it's okay now to take out your phone and take down these points. This is the 13th chapter of the Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it is text 77 to 80, right? 13, 77 to 80 of the Madhya Leela. So now you'll understand Lord Chaitanya's mood at Ratha Yatra. And we are all Gaudiya Vaishnavas, followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So following means we should at least attempt to understand his bhav, his mood, his intent when he is attending and participating in the Ratha Yatra festival. Okay, text 81. Having recited all these verses from scripture, the Lord again offered his obeisances, and all the devotees with folded hands also offered prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and jumped high, roaring like thunder and moving in a circle like a wheel, he appeared like a circling firebrand. Wherever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stepped while dancing, the whole earth with its hills and seas appeared to tilt. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, he displayed various blissful transcendental changes in his body. Sometimes he appeared as though stunned. Sometimes the hair of his body stood on end. Sometimes he perspired, cried, trembled, and changed color. And sometimes he exhibited symptoms of helplessness, pride, exuberance, and humility. With his hands on the shoulders of Hari Chandan, King Prataparudra could see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing, and the king felt great ecstasy. Listen to this pastime very carefully. It will help you understand what to do if somebody slaps you in the festival. Anyway, it's quite a pastime. What happens here? While the king beheld the dancing, while he was in astonishment looking at Lord Chaitanya dancing, Srivas Thakur, standing in front of him, in front of the king, became ecstatic as he saw the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Seeing Srivas Thakur standing before the king, Hari Chandan, who was like an assistant to the king, touched Srivas with his hand and requested him to step aside because the king, you have to move aside because the king is behind you. Absorbed in watching Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dance, Srivas Thakur could not understand why he was being touched and pushed from behind. After he was pushed again and again, Srivas Thakur became angry. Srivas Thakur slapped Hari Chandan to stop him from pushing him. In turn, this made Hari Chandan very angry. Is Hari Chandan Prabhu here? Brian is As the angered Hari Chandan was about to speak to Srivas Thakur, Prataparudra Maharaj personally stopped him. So if you are slapped at Ratha Yatra, understand what's happening, right? King Prataparudra said to Hari Chandan, "You are very fortunate, for you have been graced by the touch of Srivas Thakur. I am not so fortunate. You should feel obliged to him." In other words, offer your humble obeisances for being slapped. What they say in Chatsworth? He got a what happened? He got a 1-2 what happens? Everyone was astonished by the dancing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even Lord Jagannath became extremely happy to see him. The cart came to a complete standstill and remained immobile while Lord Jagannath, with unblinking eyes, watched the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The goddess of fortune, Subhadra, and Lord Balaram both felt great happiness and ecstasy within their hearts. Indeed, they were seen smiling at the dancing. Did you all see Subhadra and Balaram smiling at the devotees' kirtan? And you all ever saw them smile? Anyone? Anyone saw them smiling? Anyone saw Lord Jagannath smiling? If you haven't seen them smiling, you know what you should do? You should open your eyes, and then you'll naturally see them smiling, because all they do is smile, smiling in ecstasy. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and jumped high, 8 wonderful transformations indicative of divine ecstasy were seen in his body. All these symptoms were visible simultaneously. These are the Asta Sattvika Bhavas that one can experience, or one will only experience when one has achieved that topmost level of Krishna Prema. Indeed, a normal mortal body cannot contain these experiences of ecstasy. Only persons like Srimati Radharani and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were able to manage the intensity of these Astasattvika Bhavas. Thus, there was a sort of competition between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Jagannath in seeing who would lead. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so strong that he made Lord Jagannath wait in his car. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, his ecstasy changed. Raising his 2 arms, he began to recite the following verse in a loud voice. Okay, see if you'll understand this verse, right? Since time immemorial, but at least for the last 500 years, acharyas have been trying to discuss this verse to come to its deeper meaning. So this is what Lord Chaitanya recites. That very personality who stole away my heart during my youth, is now again my master. These are the same moonlit nights of the month of Chaitra. The same fragrance of malati flowers is there, and the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover, yet still my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva under the Vaitasi tree. That is my desire. This verse was recited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. But for Swarup Damodar Goswami, definitely not me, but for Swarup Damodar Goswami, no one could understand its meaning. So devotees, this is a very This brings to the topic of, kind of a deep anxiety of the acharyas who have dedicated their lives to spreading Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission all over the world. That our process of bhakti, of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, developing Krishna prema as taught by Srila Rupa Goswami, must not be taken to be some by-the-way sentimental religious experience that is sort of carried by wonderful rituals of arti and offerings to the deity and breakings of coconuts at the Ratha yatra festival. You know how people get when they offer camphor lamp and you break the coconut and people just dive for the so-called remnants, inauspicious remnants actually, because you're not meant to eat those bits of coconut. But we lose sight of the essence of devotional service. And here, we lose sight of the essence of devotional service, thinking that all the externals of rituals are what it's all about. But here, just in this very deep, practically inexplicable verse that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has repeatedly recited, we're getting a slight glimpse into the fact, into the reality that Krishna consciousness is not about any externality. It's about, as Srila Prabhupada said, it's a festival of feelings, of exchanging our deepest, heartfelt emotions and needs with Krishna, the only person, the absolute only person who can fulfill all our desires. We've been running around everywhere trying to fulfill desires, but now all of us here today are so fortunate that we've come before Krishna, Lord Jagannath, that only person who can fulfill our desires. And in order to have our desires fulfilled, there is a specific process given by Lord Chaitanya, by Srila Rupa Goswami, and fortunately for us, by Srila Prabhupada in the most relevant way. So we must not take our Gaudiya Vaishnava process of Bhakti Yoga to just be another religious experience that you can go down the road to any temple or church or mosque or synagogue and hey, it's the same thing. No. What Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving is an experience beyond any experience that you could have ever conceived of. Beyond anything. So we must grasp this very, very intentionally and very, very deeply and imbibe it in our lives. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked upon the beautiful lotus-like face and eyes of Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath was garlanded, dressed with nice garments, and adorned with beautiful ornaments. His face was glittering from the rays of sunshine, and the entire atmosphere was fragrant. An ocean of transcendental bliss expanded in the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and symptoms of madness immediately intensified like a hurricane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body appeared like a transcendental Himalayan mountain bearing ecstatic emotional flower trees, all of them blooming. The sight of all these symptoms attracted everyone's mind and consciousness. Indeed, the Lord sprinkled everyone's mind with the nectar of transcendental love of Godhead. Upon seeing the dancing and ecstatic love of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone became astonished. In their hearts, they became infatuated with love of Krishna. Everyone danced and chanted with ecstatic love, and a great noise resounded. Everyone was overwhelmed with transcendental bliss just to see the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami concludes the chapter by saying, "Thus I have described the great performance of congregational chanting by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he danced in front of Lord Jagannath. In his prayer known as the Chaitanyashtaka, Srila Rupa Goswami has given a vivid description of the Lord's dancing before the car of Jagannath. And he quotes that description. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced down the main road in great ecstasy before Lord Jagannath, the master of Nilachal, who was sitting on his car. Overwhelmed by the transcendental bliss of dancing and surrounded by Vaishnavas who sang the holy names, he manifested waves of ecstatic love of Godhead. When will Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again be visible to my vision? Again, we'll repeat that Falastuti. Anyone who hears this description of the car festival will attain Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He will also attain the elevated state by which he will have firm conviction in devotional service and love of Godhead. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Now devotees, I just want to read, because the class was entitled Srila Prabhupada's Vision of the Ratha Yatra festival, and so far we've given Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's experience, which is Srila Prabhupada's vision to, like he said, a feelings festival for us to somehow, in some fractional way, if at all possible, to taste a drop of that experience, that feeling that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees were feeling 500 years ago when they participated in the festival. So here we'll just read a couple of, some excerpts of a few lectures of Srila Prabhupada that he gave on the occasion of the Ratha Yatra festival. One is at the Ratha Yatra festival in San Francisco, and the other is the day after the very famous 1976 New York Ratha Yatra festival that Srila Prabhupada attended. So in 1970 in San Francisco, on the 5th of July, Prabhupada says, "My dear boys and girls, those who have come here, I welcome you on behalf of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." Isn't that nice? Prabhupada's welcoming all of us on behalf of the Supreme Lord. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago, and he introduced this Krishna consciousness movement. This Ratha Yatra is one of the items of this Krishna consciousness movement. Jagannath, just try to understand Jagannath. Jagat means the moving world. Gachati iti jagat. Sanskrit word gachati means which is moving. So all these planets, this universe, even the sun, everything is moving as we are moving. We are, of course, animate. Even inanimate things are moving. Your motor car is moving. Your machine is moving, but they are moving under the control of some animate object. But the animate objects moving, some of the animate objects are standstill, just like the trees, but ultimately they are also moving in this sense, that one species of life is being transmigrated to another species of life. Therefore it is called Jagat. Jagat means moving. And Jagat Nath means proprietor, master, proprietor. So Jagannath means the proprietor or master of all these movements. He is Jagannath. And Balabhadra, Balaram. Bala means strength, and Ram means enjoyment. So Balaram means who gives you spiritual strength for enjoying eternal blissful life. So we understand Jagannath by this description, and we are understanding Balaram by Prabhupada's explanation. He is Balaram. And Subhadra, Su means auspicious and Bhadra means well-being. Subhadra, Jagannath and Balaram combined together are present before you to reclaim you from your miserable condition of life. That is the purport of this Ratha Yatra festival. Isn't that nice? We go before Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra in their chariots, and they are there combined to reclaim us from our miserable condition of life. If anyone sees on the car Jagannath, Subhadra and Baladev, then he does not take birth again in this material world. Rattecha vanam drisva, vamanam drisva. So I shall not take much of your time. You are tired, Prabhupada is speaking, but I'm going to take a little more of your time. But some of the important things I may inform you, that this Krishna consciousness movement is not a religious type. It is a great culture. It is a great culture for spiritual emancipation. So again, Prabhupada's repeating this point that I spoke about, that it's not just some by-the-way religious movement. It's a great culture for spiritual emancipation, for spiritual liberation and freedom. So let us consider this view of Srila Prabhupada. Let us consider this view. Also, some of you may be wondering, Ratha Yatra festival. We get this question all the time at Ratha Yatra festivals. Who is Lord Jagannath? He doesn't look like Krishna. What's all this about? How many of you thought that the first time you saw Jagannath? Is this Krishna? I mean, I was confused utterly. Like, what is this? What are they worshipping? If anything looks like idolatry, it is this. Right? It is this. So, we understand that this Ratha Yatra festival, from the scripture we read, that when Krishna, Lord Krishna, when he was on this planet, when he was about 45 years, transcendently 45 years old at that time, some 33, 34 years after he left Vrindavan to go to Mathura to kill Kamsa, and then, he went on to Dwarka. On the occasion of the solar eclipse, he took all the Yadus and the Vrishnis and they journeyed all the way to Kurukshetra, across, quite a distance, to take bath in the holy place there and to observe that solar eclipse. And then upon hearing about that, the residents of Vrindavan, the Brajabasis, they all thought, let us also go and hopefully we can see Krishna. So they reunited there. And the most heart-rendering, heart-touching exchanges occurred between Krishna and the different groups of the residents of Vrindavan. And there, especially the gopis of Vrindavan, headed by Srimati Radharani, they appealed to Krishna, please come back. Please come back to Sri Vrindavan Dham, as you had promised some 33 years ago. So this is the spirit behind Ratha Yatra, that the residents of Vrindavan are appealing to Krishna. They're putting him on a cart together with his brother and sister and pulling them back to Sri Vrindavan Dham. Of course, we understand that we make our hearts into Vrindavan. We cleanse our hearts so it becomes non-different from Vrindavan, so that we can pull Krishna into our hearts and keep him situated there for all time to come. So this is what Ratha Yatra basically is representing, recreating for us. It's a festival to inspire us, let me make my heart like Vrindavan, so that Krishna will always want to be there. Then about the forms of Jagannath, which are so unusual, so very, amazingly unusual. We read about in the scripture of one great king, Maharaj Indradyumna, who had cultivated a very earnest and strong desire to worship the most merciful forms of the Lord. So as he was trying to figure out how to do this, a sculptor appeared, a Stapati appeared and said to him that I can do this. I can carve these forms that you want, this form of Krishna that you want, on one condition, that while I'm carving, I must have no disturbance whatsoever until I have fully completed the work. So after a couple of weeks, while the carving was going on, you could hear the sounds of chipping away and whatever sounds are happening during the carving process. Then suddenly after 2 weeks there was silence, there was no sound at all. And Maharaj Indradyumna became very perturbed and anxious, And he thought maybe he stopped. What is happening? I thought he would come out and announce that yes, we've completed. So in great anxiety, he rushed into the room and he saw that the sculptor, the Sthapati, had disappeared. And only these seemingly incomplete forms of what we know now as Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra were standing before him. Very unusual. No hands, no legs, rounded bodies, wide opened eyes. Looked very different to him. And he became very disappointed that, through my impatience, I have stopped and now I have these incomplete forms. But then after some time, by the mercy of Lord Brahma and other saintly Vaishnavas present, he got a very wonderful revelation that these are indeed the perfect, completed forms that I was looking for, that I was yearning for. And then, by the inspiration and direction of Lord Brahma, he conducted an elaborate installation ceremony. Lord Brahma himself presided over the installation. And these forms of Jagannath, Balaram and Subhadra were installed in Jagannath Puri. This is going back thousands and thousands of years ago. And those same forms are being worshipped in Jagannath Puri today. How many of you have been to Jagannath Puri and saw Jagannath Balaram? You all are so fortunate. I tried to go once. They didn't let me go in. Videshi Malechas, what to do? Yeah, seriously, I tried to go in. They said, no, out, can't go, out. I don't look Indian enough. Anyway, so much for that. You agree? Try again. Prabhupada refused to go in when he took the devotees to Puri. He said, if my Western disciples are not allowed, I will not go. And I heard in 1996 when His Holiness Bhakti Charaswami also took the devotees on parikrama throughout India, Maharaj also refused to go in. I don't know if any of you were on that parikrama. Maharaj also refused to go in. So, but now one may question, okay, these forms, somebody carved, Maharaj Indradyumna got this revelation that yes, it's Jagannath, but where does it come from? Does Krishna ever look like that? Does he? So the accounts that are given to us from the scripture is that once in Dwarka, Krishna came across a very secretive conversation that was happening amongst Rohini Devi and the queens of Dwarka, where she was relating to all the queens, all the wonderful exchanges that were taking place, the pastimes that took place in Shri Vrindavan Dham between the residents of Vrindavan and Krishna and Balaram. And Krishna happened to come across this conversation and he stood by the door and he was eavesdropping. Of course, Krishna can hear everything from wherever he is, but for the sake of pastimes, he went to the door of that sabha, that hall, and he was listening. And as he was listening to these most amazing pastimes, whose pastimes? His own pastimes, he became consumed with ecstasy. And he started crying. His hair started standing on end. And the ecstasy didn't stop there, that experience of ecstasy. Suddenly his limbs withdrew into his body. He his fingers went in, his legs went in, and he became stunned with wide opened eyes. And then Balaram came across that scene. He saw Krishna in this amazing transformation, vikar, and he started listening. And what had happened to him? The very same thing. And then the sister came along, she saw the same, she started listening, the same happened to her. And these are the very same forms that we worship. Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra. So the next time you go to New Jagannath Puri, or when you see Lord Jagannath on the chariot, remember that this form of Krishna is the ultimate expression of ecstasy. Yes, we are very accustomed to seeing this beautiful threefold bending form with the flute, hip and knees and ankles bent, that charming smile with his sidelong glance, looking for Radharani always. But when you see Jagannath, just consider that this is Krishna, confirmed. This is Krishna in his most ecstatic expression. in separation, in loving separation from the residents of Vrindavan. So we are very, very fortunate, so fortunate, that by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, through his desire, we get an opportunity to worship Krishna in this ultimate expression of ecstasy. Srila Prabhupada was very, very, very attached to Ratha Yatra. Even from the age of 5, he had a homemade cart built for him, and he engaged the entire neighborhood in it was a big festival. This little child got all his friends and the parents of his friends to make offerings, and there was kirtan and decorations. So this was Prabhupada. He loved the Ratha Yatra festival. And we are his followers, the followers of the founder Acharya. We should imbibe that same spirit, meditate and thus imbibe. And then in 1967 in San Francisco, Srila Prabhupada conceived of the very first Jagannath Ratha Yatra festival. He was too ill that he couldn't attend, although he was there in the vicinity. It was a flatbed truck. And if you see the videos, it's so amazing. It wasn't like Lord Jagannath and Balaram and Subhadra were together facing. They were facing in 3 different directions. This was the creativity, the loving creativity of the devotees at that time. But then later on, by the more detailed guidance of Srila Prabhupada, we've seen how Ratha Yatra, the festival of chariots, has just developed into the most amazing experience in hundreds of cities all over the world now. Hundreds of cities throughout the world, this festival is going on. So I'll just conclude now, is that okay? With just one little excerpt from that lecture I told you all about that Srila Prabhupada gave the day after the Ratha Yatra festival in New York. And this is very significant for us in South Africa, especially here in South Africa. I'm not going to make any corny, reaching out in terms of the color of Balaram and the color of Subhadra and the color of Jagannath and how it so nicely represents the rainbow nation, the dream of a rainbow nation that we had in 1994 and which was just everyone so disappointed with now, right? It's true. It's like a pipe dream, right? What happened to everyone coming together? Because we were trying to come together on the basis of some material dispensation. Never works. So this is what Prabhupada says. Actually, just in mind, I once was a few times, at one time in particular, I was very, very fortunate by the grace of my spiritual master to meet what my Guru Maharaj, or who my Guru Maharaj described to be a legend amongst legends in ISKCON. And that is His Grace Brahmananda Prabhu. Have you all heard of Brahmananda Prabhu? He was the GBC for South Africa, although he never visited South Africa in Prabhupada's time. And when I met him and, he understood I'm from South Africa, and then he began to cry, remembering his last interaction with Srila Prabhupada. And he said, the very last time I met Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan, he said this to me. He said, about South Africa, I want that the Indians, the Africans, and the Europeans must come together and dance. That was his last words to me about South Africa. That was what Brahmananda Prabhu told to me. And this is what Prabhupada says in a similar light in that lecture the day after Ratha Yatra in 1976. Prabhupada says, quote, just like yesterday you made, they very much appreciated this Ratha Yatra ceremony, and they wrote very frankly, quote, here is the point of meeting East and West. The newspapers, they have written like that. It is actually the fact. We cannot become united nation of united dogs. It is not possible. Everyone is barking. And if you practice to bark, then simply some different types of dogs, some bulldogs, some greyhounds, some this, some that. So how will they be united? Can you get different groups of dogs being united? Never. They'll always fight, right? No, that is not possible. But here is unity. When you accept Jagannath, there is unity. So actually, if we take the Krishna consciousness movement very seriously, scientifically, then there is unity. Actually, this is the platform where we can unite. And by practical example, you have shown everyone was engaged in dancing and chanting. Never mind whether Indian, American, black, white, children, or old like me. This is wanted. This is wanted. And when we thoroughly understand what is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness, and we understand Vasudev, Krishna, is the central point of attraction, then our life is successful. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Jagannath Ratha Yatra Mahotsava ki, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for that beautiful and inspirational class. Let's give Prabhu a round of applause one more time. So devotees, we have 5 beautiful book packs to give away today to guests who are joining us for the first time. So if you are here for the first time, please do come forward and Prabhu will do the honors of handing them over to you. Please come forward if you are new and if you are joining us for the first time. Let's give them a round of applause.
Also, devotees, there are 2 questions. I'm not sure who wrote the questions, but if you'd like them answered, you can please see me or any other devotee for explanation. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Devotees, today's Ekadasi Sunday Love Feast was lovingly prepared by the Krishna Prema Namahata, led by Rajiv Prabhu and Prema Alap Dasi, as well as their team. Let's give them a round of applause. So we'll look forward to Aarti, and thank you for coming. Hopefully we'll see you there in the festival next week. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Radha Nata Radha Radha Nata Radhe. Jaya Radha Radha Nata Radha Radha Nata Radhe. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha, Jai Radha, Jai Krishna, Jai Vrindavan. 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 Shri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan. Shri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan. Shri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan. Ramakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan. Shamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan. Shamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan. Kalindi Rajumaya Jaya Mahavan. Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan. Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan. Vrindavanadam Jaya Vrindavanadam. Vrindavanadam Jaya Vrindavanadam. Vrindavanadam Jaya Vrindavanadam. Vrindavanadam Jaya Vrindavanadam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Radha Nata, Radha, Radha Nata, Radhe, Radhe. Jaya Radha, Radha Nata, Radha, Radha Nata, Radhe, Radhe. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Shri Shri Gauranita. Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitya Gaura Haribol, 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 Gaura Haribol.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Astottara Sata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki, ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astottara Satashi Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinata Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki Shri Jagannath Ratha Yatra Mahomahotsava Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Namaste Narsinghaya Pralhadalhadaine Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Silhatankanakalaye Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha Jato Jato Yami Tato Nrsimha Bahe Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha Bahe Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha Hridaye Nrsimha Narasingha Madhim Sharanam Prapade Narasingha Madhim Sharanam Prapade Tava Kara Kamalavade Naka Adbhuta Singha Dhalita Hiranyakashipo Tano Vrinda Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamalavade Dhalita Hiranyakashipo Dano Vrinda Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nrsimhadev 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 Jaya Nrsimhadev
जय प्रहलाद महाराज, प्रहलाद महाराज, प्रहलाद महाराज, जय प्रहलाद महाराज। जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय प्रभुपाद। श्री लक्ष्मण सिंहदेव भगवान की जय, भक्त शेष प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि, श्रील प्रभुपाद की।